Bartending is an amazing craft. Now, whether you're looking to get into it for a part-time job, full-blown career, or you're just looking for a fun hobby, I'm going to give you 10 things that you should think about before you pay out your hard-earned money to go to bartending school. Stay tuned. What's up guys, Sam James, Barprints.co, and in this video we're going to be talking about bartending school and why you don't need it. Now if you're new to the channel and you're looking for the best in all things bartending, cocktail, tutorials, tips, tricks, and all that fun stuff, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right down there, and don't forget to click the notification bell to make sure you never miss a new video whenever they come out. Now before we get into the topic, all cards on the table, I have never been to bartending school. I learned way back in the day on the job working in resorts in Jamaica. Managed to train many bartenders successfully throughout the course of my career who went on to do great things. And again, this is all from not going to bartending school. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-bartending school. It's just that there's a few points that I want to make sure that you keep, in the front of your mind so that you can make an informed decision to see if it's the right thing for you or not. Now, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you may be saying to yourself, well, Sam sells an online bartending course, so of course he's going to be anti-bartending school, right? Well, yes, that's true. I do sell an online course, MIXOLOGY Mastery, which I'm very proud of. I stand behind it, and I believe it'll go toe-to-toe with any other online course out there, or even bartending school for that matter. That's why I'm giving you 10 reasons in total, 5 from me, and then 5 from the polls that I've done on our Instagram account, which at the time of filming this video is 118,000 followers strong, large community of bar enthusiasts, bar managers, bartenders, other hospitality professionals. So did all this so that you can get a good sample of opinions, that you don't just take my word for it, but take the word of some other people who are actually in the business right now. And let's jump into it. Now, the number one reason for why I don't think you need bartending school is that if you are looking to get a bar job in any capacity, one of the first things you got to know is that most people, myself included, this is one of the things that I've often done, is you hire somebody based on their attitude and their aptitude more so than what they know. I've always said, and I've said this often in interviews, I've said it to many people, you could teach a skill, but you can't teach talent. And I'll take it a step further. You can't teach attitude. So if you are somebody who is outgoing, could relate easily to guests, who is a team player, all the things that would make you an asset to that work environment, then that is something that will be weighed more higher than the amount of recipes that you have memorized. Because again, you can teach a skill, can't teach talent, can't teach attitude. Now, the second reason actually piggybacks off the first question. Most bartenders out there have actually never been to bartending school. They learned very much the way I suggested. They were hired because of who they were and their abilities, their natural innate talents and abilities, and they were taught the skills on the job. That's how I learned it. I myself have trained people like that, as I've mentioned. So that's just one more thing to prove to you that it's not necessary for you to go. And to take that a step further, no matter where you work or no matter how much experience you have, if you go to a new place, they will most definitely have a training period, because every place is different. You're going to have to learn their opening procedures, their closing procedures, their inventory. There's a bunch of things you're going to have to learn. And then as far as drink recipes are concerned, since we're talking about bartending, every place does their own versions a different way. So you will have to relearn, for example, old recipes to make it in the way of the bar or the restaurant that you are currently going to be employed at. Now, the third thing that I think is important for you to know, because a lot of bartending schools and a lot of different places advertise this per se, is there is no such thing as a bartending license. A lot of people, or a lot of these different advertisers will say that you get licensed to be a bartender. Bartending isn't the kind of thing that you can be licensed to do. It's not like being licensed to drive a car, licensed to be a doctor, architect, that kind of thing. It's not like that. Now, depending on your state you're living in, depending on the country you're living in, there may be certain requirements that you will have to be licensed for. For example, you may need a food handler's permit or a responsible pouring certification, but those are different things that you can get. And again, there's no bartending license. Those are two separate things, and you can get either one of those things without going to a school. Now, reason number 4, going back to a point that I mentioned earlier, is you don't have to already know a whole bunch of drinks or every drink out there in order for you to become a bartender. I've been doing this for a while myself. Yes, I'm not currently bartending in any place right now, but throughout my career, I've taught, I've trained, I've served. I'm still learning new cocktail recipes because the world is a big place and there's a lot of different places that do things a lot of different ways, and people are inventing new stuff every day. But further to that point is that every place has their own thing. So if you come in knowing some of the basics, then that's great, but you will learn on the job how to make other cocktails, and more importantly, you'll learn how to make them the way that that particular establishment wants them made and served. So again, you don't have to come in with a ton of pre-memorized recipes. Sure, they help, but it's not 100% necessary for you to be hired as a bartender. Now, the 5th reason why you won't need to go to bartending school is that every restaurant, every bar, as I may have mentioned before, has their own training periods for new hires. Doesn't matter if you are a server, bartender, whatever the case may be, there is a period that you have to go through where you learn all the standard operating procedures, policies, etc. for that particular place. Closing, opening, recipes, protocols, everything. So you can come into that environment with a fresh mindset, ready to absorb, and then you are good to go with the rest of your time at that establishment. Now for the 5 reasons as pulled from the poll that we did on the Instagram account for why you don't need to go to bartending school. Number 1 is YouTube. YouTube and the internet. Many of you found me because you were looking up some cocktail or bartending stuff on the internet. Everything that you would learn in a bartending school is already out there for free. You just got to know what to look for, and you just need to go out and find it. So that's the first thing. There's no new information. You go, you try it out at home, practice it a bunch of times, you'll be good to go. The second one is actually one of the favorites that I saw, and it goes, customer service and trusting your instincts cannot be taught in a school. But I want to give that a little tweak, just kind of a quick little clarification as far as my experience is concerned. Customer service skills can be taught, but the thing that cannot be taught is that aptitude for customer service, that attitude, which goes back to what we were talking about in the first 5 comments. So that is actually, again, a very big thing, and you can see as it comes from the community, this is what you're going to have to bring to the table if you intend to work in this profession amongst other professionals. Now, the third one is a pretty interesting one, and I'm not going to say that every single establishment, bartender, bar supervisor, every one of your colleagues is going to feel this way, but the third one from the community was that nobody in the industry respects people who have gone to bartending school, and it's a bad idea to put on your resume. Now, like I said, I can't speak for everybody, but I think I can understand where that connotation would be coming from. One of the biggest problems that a lot of people have is nobody wants to have to unteach or unlearn bad habits that you may have picked up somewhere else that you would possibly through experience or through a proper mentor would have learned not to do in a professional setting. Now that leads us to the 4th reason why it's not the best idea. And again, I'm not saying this is everybody, but this is, again, coming from our community, so that means that that general feeling, that general consensus is out there. Half of the time, the people who are teaching at these schools have never been bartenders themselves. Now, like I'm sure a lot of you feel as much as I do, if you're going to be learning something from somebody, you want to make sure they're not coming from a pure space of theory, excuse me, of just academics. You want to know that they actually have some experience in the field, they've actually done what they've said they're teaching you how to do, makes it more credible, and then you can have a lot more confidence in your own ability, knowing that you've been learning something or taught something from a mentor with some real credibility. Now the fifth one, which I'm pretty sure I've touched on in some of the other points in this list, this is what happens when you're going from memory and experience versus, a pre-prepared script, but it is important enough that it bears repeating, and that is that some of these schools have a tendency to kind of develop or reinforce bad habits. And by bad habits, this could be anything from your serving technique, your pouring technique, the way that you approach your guests and things like that. Things that you may not know are unacceptable in real world application, or at the very least not as efficient or inconsiderate to your colleagues and your coworkers in a real world scenario, because it wasn't like that in the simulated environment. But again, it's one of those things that, sure, I had touched on it a bunch of times, but it is actually a very important thing to learn. And a lot of people would much rather get you fresh so that they could teach you from scratch without having to unteach you the bad habits, and then they can basically mold you the way they want you to, so that you function within that workspace. And those are my 10 reasons why I don't think you need to go to bartending school. Now, if you are looking for a bartending program that you could do online in the space of a weekend, go ahead and head over to barprints.co and check out my Mixology Mastery program. Now, I put this together. You may be asking, okay, well, this is YouTube, so what makes this different? Well, I put together a system, framework, simple steps that you can follow so you can eliminate the guesswork of searching for hours on end on the internet. Everything from basic to advanced techniques, the recipes that you will most commonly need to know, and not only that, but how to break each one of these down so you understand the importance of every ingredient, so you can create and memorize your own recipes, as well as some of these popular classical recipes. Now, if you found this video helpful, and I really hope you have, don't forget to give it a like and share it with your friends. And for more great bartending tips, tricks, and tutorials, don't forget to check out these videos right here. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.